we struggle to get stops at times, but also like the clock getting messed up. Like, it was just one thing after the next, but yeah, overall, like, it didn't bother me.
Did you see that game? Caitlyn Clark just dropped 25 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds against the Connecticut Sun. But guess what? The Fever still lost. How does a rookie play like a superstar and her team still can't win? Something's not adding up here. You think Clark's performance was impressive? Wait till you hear what she had to overcome. The refs seem to have it out for her, ignoring fouls left and right. It's got fans asking, is this how the WNBA treats its rising star? The answer might surprise you, and it's causing an uproar in the basketball world. Let's break down what happened in that game against the Connecticut Sun. Clark was out there, playing her heart out.
Caitlyn, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game?
But it was like she had invisible armor on. The refs just couldn't see when she was getting hit. We're talking about clear fouls that would make any basketball fan's jaw drop. Picture this. Clark's driving to the hoop, and Marina Mayberry comes in hot, nearly taking her head off. In any other game, that's a whistle and free throws. But here, nothing. Crickets from the refs. It's like they left their whistles at home or something. And it wasn't just once or twice. All game long, Clark was getting tied up, pushed around, and knocked down. But the refs, they were acting like they were watching a different game. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to yell at your TV. You know what's even crazier? When Clark would take her shots, defenders were all up in her landing space. That's supposed to be a big no-no in basketball. It's dangerous, and it's usually an automatic foul. But for some reason, the refs decided to look the other way. It's like they were playing by a whole different rule book. Now, if you're thinking this sounds familiar, you're not wrong.
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. Like, I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half. Better than I usually do, which is a positive. But overall, like, coach said in the locker room, like, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. Like,
it's kind of like what happens to Steph Curry in the NBA. They call it the Steph treatment, where star players suddenly don't get the calls they deserve. It's like being too good works against you. How messed up is that? But here's where it gets real. These non-calls weren't just annoying. They were game changers. Every missed foul was a missed opportunity for Clark to get to the free throw line. And in a close game, those points can make all the difference. The Indiana Fever's chances of winning took a serious hit because of this. You'd think all this would throw Clark off her game, right? Nope. That's where Clark showed she's not just talented. She's tough as nails. Despite getting knocked around with no calls, she kept her cool. She didn't lose her focus or start making dumb mistakes out of frustration. Instead, she just kept balling out, playing at that elite level we've come to expect from her. It's one thing to put up big numbers when everything's going your way, but to do it when it feels like the whole game is stacked against you?
When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlyn, did you intend to hit her in the eye?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional.
That's next level stuff. Clark proved she's not just a flash in the pan, she's the real deal, able to perform under pressure and adversity. You've seen how Clark dominates on the court, but off it, that's where things get really interesting. Her viewership numbers are through the roof, leaving other WNBA stars in the dust. But here's the kicker. This surge in popularity might be the very thing threatening to tear the league apart. Caitlyn Clark isn't just good for the WNBA, she might be too good. We're talking packed arenas, skyrocketing ratings, and fans going wild every time she steps on the court. But while everyone's cheering for Clark, behind the scenes, there's a whole different story unfolding. Imagine being a WNBA player who's been grinding for years, finally making it to the big leagues, and then boom, this rookie comes in and steals all the spotlight. It's like showing up to prom in your best outfit, only to have someone else walk in wearing a designer gown and looking like a movie star. That's what Clark's doing to the rest of the league. And it's not just the players feeling the heat. The refs, they're caught in the middle of this whole mess. On one side, you've got Clark pulling off these insane plays that deserve calls. On the other, you've got everyone else in the league thinking, hey, what about us? It's like they're trying to keep the peace by not giving anyone special treatment. But in doing that, they might actually be messing things up even more. But here's where it gets really crazy. The WNBA isn't just dealing with some new star player, they're facing a full-on phenomenon. Clark's not just bringing in a few extra fans, she's changing the whole game. We're talking viewership numbers that are making other WNBA stars look like they're playing in an empty gym. Think about it. When was the last time you saw people lining up around the block to get into a WNBA game, or social media blowing up with highlights from a regular season matchup? That's the Caitlyn Clark effect. She's not just a player, she's a one-woman marketing machine. But here's the problem. The WNBA might not be ready for all this. They're used to slow, steady growth. Now they've got this superstar who's blowing past all their expectations, and they're scrambling to keep up. It's like they were cruising along in a family sedan, and suddenly someone dropped a Ferrari engine under the hood. And you know what's even crazier? This is just the beginning. Clark's only a rookie. Imagine what's going to happen as she gets even better, as she builds her fan base, as she starts breaking records left and right. The league's going to have to answer some tough questions, and fast. Do they change the rules to showcase Clark's talents even more? Do they market the league around her, or try to spread the spotlight? And what about the other players? How do you keep everyone happy when one player is bringing in all the attention? It's not just about basketball anymore. It's about the future of the entire WNBA. They've got this golden opportunity with Clark, but if they mess it up, they could lose all those new fans she's bringing in. And that's not something the league can afford. Think the Clark hype is big now? You ain't seen nothing yet. This rookie's just getting started, and she's already got the basketball world buzzing. We're not just talking about a great player here. We're talking about a once-in-a-generation talent who could change the face of women's basketball forever. Let's put this in perspective. You know how Steph Curry revolutionized the NBA with his insane three-point shooting? Or how Larry Bird's court vision and passing changed the game? Well, imagine if you took those skills and cranked them up to 11. That's what we're seeing with Caitlyn Clark. But it's not just about her skills on the court. Clark's got that star quality that you can't teach. She's drawing crowds like nobody's business, filling up arenas and sending TV ratings through the roof. It's like she's got this magnetic pull that's bringing new fans to the WNBA left and right. Now here's where things get really wild. Some folks are saying Clark's not just good, she's potentially game-changing good. We're talking about a player who could redefine what's possible in women's basketball. It's like watching the birth of a legend in real time. But here's the million-dollar question. Is the WNBA ready for a superstar of this caliber? Because let's be real, Clark's not just playing at a high level. She's playing at a level that could outshine some NBA stars. That's the kind of talent we're dealing with here. The league's got a big decision to make. Do they go all in on Clark and build the future of the WNBA around her? Or do they try to spread the spotlight around and risk missing out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? It's not an easy call. On one hand, you've got a player who could take the league to new heights, bringing in more fans, more sponsors, more everything. But on the other hand, you don't want to alienate the other stars who've been carrying the league for years. Here's the thing though, Clark's not just a flash in the pan. She's the real deal. And she's only going to get better. We're talking about a player who could be the face of women's basketball for the next decade or more. The kind of player who could inspire a whole new generation of young girls to pick up a basketball. But with great talent comes great responsibility. For the league, that is. How the WNBA handles Clark could make or break women's basketball for years to come. They've got to find a way to showcase her talents without overshadowing the rest of the league. It's a tightrope walk, for sure. But if they can pull it off, man, the sky's the limit. We could be looking at a future where the WNBA is must-see TV, where games are selling out left and right, where women's basketball is finally getting the recognition it deserves. And it all comes down to one player, one rookie who's taking the league by storm and forcing everyone to sit up and take notice. Clark's not just playing basketball, she's changing the game from the inside out. So yeah, the hype around Clark is huge right now. But trust me, we're just at the beginning of this story. The real question is, what's the next chapter going to look like? Will the WNBA seize this opportunity and ride the Clark wave to new heights? Or will they play it safe and risk missing out on something truly special?